This week on Moonshine and Music, you know, when you first started playing, was it just guitars, or do you play other instruments? What was the progression there? How did you?
Actually, the first band I was in, it was bass, but that's not what I wanted to do. I just kind of got thrown in there, as most bassists do. I even remember doing gigs, not even really knowing the songs. We would turn the volume all the way down, and I would just pretend to play. But
if you start to struggle, you need yourself some help. I said, don't you look no further and deep within yourself, 'cause you have got the keys to every single door, but the only key you need is sitting deep in your core.
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 17 of Moonshine and Music, the perfect music show. We've got a big show for you today. We got Dacota Muckey. He came in, he gave us a great interview. You're gonna really enjoy the way that his voice sounds. I mean, it's kind of surprising that he can get all of that, I don't know, soul and art out of a voice. And you just you listen to him talk, and then you hear him sing, and you're just kind of wow. So that's what's coming up for you. It's also a really good interview today, and I had just recently met Dacota, and you know, so it's a really cool thing to learn a lot about a new and upcoming artist. And he's got a great new record out. Make sure you go find that on Spotify and iTunes. Now, we also want to thank Brent Smith, who was our host for the next few episodes. He really did a great job hosting as we shot at his place all day long these next 8 episodes. And we really appreciate him doing that. And we want to thank Eat New Media, eatnewmedia.com. Go visit there if you need some video work done and get yourself a quote. Really have a great show on tap today. Moonshine and Music starts now. Welcome to Moonshine and Music. Dacota Muckey's here today, and we're gonna have a good old time and play some music. So welcome to the show. How's it feel to be here?
Thanks for having me, man. It feels good. It's a beautiful morning.
You are the beneficiary of shooting in hot weather. Our last show episodes were all shot in April, and it was, shall we say, frigid.
Yeah.
And now it's the opposite, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us a little bit about how you grew up and where you came from.
Let's see. I was born at St. Francis Hospital in Beech Grove, which no longer exists, and
they tore it down after you got done. Was that the?
Yeah. They're like, Dakota's here.
No, we don't want this to happen anymore. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. They're like, never again. Look at this child. No, but yeah. I don't know really where to start there. Got my first band when I was like 13, and did lessons and played out a lot, and I was doing a lot of bars and things by the time I was 16, 17. And when I was like a little bit, like 20 and a half, somewhere like almost 21, I got signed to a record label, and now I'm 22. So since the record label happened, Vince and Captain Beardo Records, it's definitely helped tons with everything. And
so as you you said you started when you were 13 or so. What did your parents do? Were they musicians also, or?
No musicians in my family. My uncle kind of like a hobbyist, but yeah, no musicians at all. I just kind of, I don't know how it happened. Just sort of happened. I know, like when I was a kid, I'd always play with like toy guitars, and like I was always attracted toward it. But
I see. So you grew up on the south side of Indy completely.
Yep.
What schools did you go to?
I went to Franklin Township High School.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been there once, I think.
Yeah.
Like a track meet or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not a lot to see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. We've had. It's interesting because as I've had people on the show, kind of ask them, what kind of thing, and there's just a plethora. You know, we're mostly interviewing people from Indianapolis, and you know, now they're in Indianapolis for whatever reason, and but they're from all over the place. So that's kind of it's interesting to have someone that's really in Indy. So you know, when you first started playing, was it just guitars, or do you play other instruments? What was the progression there? How did you?
Actually, the first band I was in, it was bass, but that's not what I wanted to do. I just kind of got thrown in there, as most bassists do. I even remember doing gigs, not even really knowing the songs. We would turn the volume all the way down, and I would just pretend to play. But yeah, eventually it was definitely mostly guitar, and very quickly I progressed to singing, not because I was good, but because I was the only person that was willing to do it in front of other people. And so just from doing it, I got better. But yeah, I started with a guitar, and quickly after that singing, and then later on down the road I learned like piano and stuff like that, incorporated into our songs.
So was your first experience with guitar, did you teach yourself? Did you have lessons? What was the...
Yeah, I had lessons. Phil Purley, actually. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a Southsider too, phenomenal. He's in a band called the Wombleys. But yeah, I took lessons for 2.5 years or something like that.
What was the first guitar you had? What was that like?
I think I had like an Indiana acoustic.
Like one of those $99 ones?
Yeah, I've been through a lot. I had like a Tradition electric, which is like a bad knockoff brand. Like 4 years ago, I got my Strat, which has been my baby ever since. And then when I started doing the solo gigs, I got a Seagull, and then eventually I got a Martin, and now I'm kind of... now I work at Guitar Center like a few days a month, and so I've become kind of a little bit of a gear nut.
Well, you know, that's an affliction that hits all of us.
It's dangerous. It's very dangerous, especially when they give you a credit card.
I always need money for the Gear and Beer Fund.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you feel like donating to the Joe Shelton Gear and Beer Fund, you know, feel free.
Yeah.
There'll be new gear, and there'll definitely be more beer.
Okay, cool.
I don't know which one gets the most spent on it. Probably the gear.
Yeah.
Because the beers are generally way cheaper than the. So what was the first band's name? I'm a big band name guy. Like, what's the what's the funky band names, and how did you come up with them and stuff like that?
The first band I was in was actually established before I was in it, so I didn't play a part in the creative role, really. I just kind of hopped in there already doing gigs and stuff, but we were called Razorback Llama.
I love it. That's a good one.
Yeah. After that, the first band that it was a lot of my songs and stuff was, I'm trying to think which one came first. Quadraphonic. Yeah, Quadraphonic. And then there was The Big Chill, which we found out was a movie. And anytime you looked up The Big Chill on Google, that's like all that would come up. And then
I thought maybe it was named after the movie when you said it. Which we found out later was like this huge movie.
Yeah. Like there's soundtracks. We go to like record stores and there'd be like The Big Chill record. We'd be like, this is not us. Eventually,
having trouble getting to the top of the search engine there.
Yeah, absolutely. So eventually me and these two brothers that I met at a gig. They were in a band called Huxford Brothers. It was just bass and drums, and he would do all kinds of crazy effects with like wah and stuff like that, and they were super awesome. And I was in the band Quadraphonic. We played a few shows together, and I was like, you guys play bass and drums, you need a guitar player and a singer, and you're awesome. And they were like, you play guitar and sing, and we need a guitar. So I joined up with them, and the rest is history. Been together for like 5 years now, and it's really just been awesome to play together.
And the blend of that band is called, for those out there?
It's called The Trip.
Ah, right.
Yeah. Which is also hard to find on Google, but
somebody types in Trip, they get like Tijuana or Cabo or
or like a picture of mushrooms.
That movie back in the day
called
Corman called The Trip.
Yep, there's a soundtrack and a record for that as well.
I mean, you got these names after movies, dude.
Yeah, it's bad.
Your next band's gonna be called Forrest Gump.
Yeah, look us up.
IMDb. That's funny. Google. The comedian just chimed in from the corner, and he had the best one, obviously. Well, that's cool. I mean, the progression of band names is always a fun topic to get into.
Yeah.
So, when did you start writing songs? Was that early on, or did it come later?
Yeah, definitely early on. I mean, maybe 13, 14 when I first started. Yeah, I used to, like, when I was in school, I would just, like, write. I would write them in, like, poetry form. Like, while the teacher was teaching, I would just, like, write poetry. That wouldn't have, like, a song in my head. Then I would, like, go home and play around with the chord progression. And, like, sometimes when you write, like, poetry, the diameter doesn't really flow with music, so I would kind of mess with the timing or how many syllables were in a line and make it fit to a song, which is not how I do it at all now. Now it's like the exact opposite. I'll find like a cool riff or something I'm working with, and then I'll write lyrics to it. So it's kind of working backwards to what I used to, but yeah.
So when you're with your songwriting inspirations, do a lot of them come from like your childhood, your your aspirations, or just like do you find a topic off the street? How do you get there?
Yeah, it's definitely progressed. When I was younger, it was very poetic and abstract, and I was talking about things meaning another thing, and was like wanted to have all these like really had to read between the lines sort of lyrics. Now I'm a lot more forward. It's changed with like the music I listen to. Like my last album was called This Is the Music That Heals Your Soul. That was the first one on the record label, and every single song on it had like a conscious positive message about it's like mindfulness and coming together, or very like loving message where he's like past, like there's no like breakup songs or even love songs or like anything. Not there's anything wrong with those. This whole album was just more geared toward pushing a positive message, and not so much like an outward positive message, but more like people dealing with their own insecurities or anxiety, or like how to overcome that, or how to try to be the best you, was the theme of its entire record.
So I'm very curious now. The theme, where does that come from? What was your origin behind deciding to go down that path with it, or did you start writing a couple songs and go, this is a message that really like speaks to me and I want to try to get it out there to the world, or was it something else? Was there some other impetus?
Well, there's a piece that starts the entire record. It's about 1.5 minutes long, and it's not an actual song. We kind of laid down a bed of music, and then I just speak over it. It's called The Realization, and it basically talks about how I was at this music festival, and it was a conscious music festival. They wouldn't book bands there if they didn't have that message. So it's all it was, and everybody there kind of resonated with that message, and everyone was on that path. So when I was there, I wrote a few songs that way because I was inspired. And nothing had flown so easily in my life. And then I came back and I couldn't stop. And I sort of, I realized that I felt like I wasn't writing the song anymore. I felt like I was making myself like a vessel for something bigger than me. Not necessarily religious, but it was like a message needs to be heard. And like I'm just opening myself up to it. So it's like, one of my favorite artists, Mike Love, said in an interview, that it's almost like as an artist, when you're writing songs like that, you can't even take credit for writing the song, because like you can feel it's not you writing the song. Like you work hard at your instrument and your voice and everything like that, but the actual message of the song is something bigger than me. Like I just opened myself up to it. You know what I mean? I've never felt that way before, and ever since I've felt that way and started writing songs like that, they just flow so much better, and it just feels like a calling. Like that's what I'm supposed to write about.
Do you I know this happens to me, not necessarily when I'm writing a song, but just in general. Like I'll be completely oblivious to a concept or like even a phrase or something that's out there, and then I'll hear it, and then suddenly like I hear it everywhere. It's like,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, oh, I hear that and that, you know. It's like an interesting way that you, almost are tied into the spirituality of the world or something, It's
absolutely.
Like, hear this one thing and then like, boom.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you know the movie Into the Wild?
Yeah.
Chris McCandless. But there's a scene in it where you know, he hasn't talked to his parents, and he left them, and he's kind of like mean to him a little bit because they were a materialistic world and everything. And they cared about where he was at and couldn't find him. Well, along his journey, he meets this older gentleman, and he stays for a few weeks with him and really impacts this guy's life. And right before he leaves, his parents come up, and like this old man's last words to Chris McCandless was, you know, you should talk to your parents because to forgive is to love. And I was like, whoa, rewind, play. To forgive is to love. I was like, pause. And I just wrote that down, I remember, and then it was probably a week before I wrote the song, but that's now a song on my record, and I was just like, man, like, this is like perfect 4 words, like, to forgive is to love, you know what I mean? Like, is that 4 words? To forgive is 5 words. I'm gonna get that right.
2 words, to forgive is to love.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, wait, what am I talking about? But yeah, it's incredible. Like, I don't know, as a songwriter, or like maybe even if you like wrote scripts for movies or anything, I don't know, and it's like you can hear like just a phrase and be like, that resonates deeply, like that needs to be, you could go so much further. You could do a whole movie about to forgive is love, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, absolutely. There's probably been about 1,000 of those made.
Yeah.
I actually think that probably the Bible is like the biggest piece of literature that's about that.
Yeah.
Although it seems in our world people have forgotten that that's really the message.
Yeah.
You know, that forgiveness and love are what it's all about. You know?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting concept to come out. No matter where it comes from, it speaks to the human condition, I think.
Yeah.
So. That's a cool little thing. Thanks for sharing it with us. Do you want to play some songs for us today?
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to come right back. We'll be back in a moment. We're going to have some music from Dacota Muckey right here on Moonshine and Music. Thanks, Dakota, for coming in today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next week on Moonshine and Music, you're going to laugh your head off with Jim Holden and Maya and this crazy interview that happened. And also, he plays some really great music that sounds something like this.
But there will come my time, but they won't know. But there will come my time, but we don't know. We don't know. You always gotta keep your head on straight, and don't you ever try and contemplate too hard, too hard. Oh yes, you're holding on to love like a loose grenade, but anything is ever gonna come your way. Takes time, takes time. Lost in my path, searching for significance. Lost I have remained, drowning in my ignorance. Oh yeah, oh yeah. They say that knowledge is power, but a strong mind is blissfulness. The world is huge, life is short, but my dreams are infinite. It's my dreams are infinite. Yeah. My dreams are infinite. When I into them, but always believing, always believing more. Ooh, yeah. Well, they tell you go to school and you'll be cool. Say read that books, don't you be no fool. Brainwashed, brainwashed. Oh, and what they show you on the news, it is never true. Designed to keep your brain got the feeling blue. Brainwashed, brainwashed. I say take the time to evaluate your mind. Like the design come from deep inside. Mindful, well, stay mindful. These people aren't so bad, they are just caught up. We're all a product of how we've been brought up. So don't judge, don't judge. They say that a strong mind is blissfulness. The world is huge, life is short, but my dreams are infinite. It's my dreams are infinite. My dreams are infinite. Spin night into them. We'll always believe in, I always believe in more.
Thank you.
What was that?
You can introduce
Oh, okay, cool. Alright. This is a song. It is entitled We All Bleed Red. Don't you know that we all bleed red? Yeah, we all bleed red. We all bleed red. Yes, we all bleed red. When it comes to time that all our minds can be free, my soul is yours, your soul is mine. Will I say namaste? Oh yeah, namaste. Let's free our souls. We need the hope, the warmth, the cold. When love is all we know, then we can all say namaste. Oh yeah, namaste. No matter what it is, whatever day will come, I say I love this day. Yes, I love this day. I look right into you, you look right into me, and we'll say namaste. Oh yeah, namaste. But even if you go, baby, even if you leave, I know that I must stay. Yes, I must stay. The most beautiful day that ever heard say gay or straight, don't you know that we all bleed red? Yes, we all bleed red. We all bleed red. and deep within yourself. 'Cause you have got the keys to every single door, but the only key you need is sitting deep, deep in your core. But the most beautiful thing that I ever heard say, no matter how rich or poor, or how big your bait, you may be malnourished, oh yeah, you may be wealthy. If you're gonna bleed, I guarantee we all bleed, hey. Yes, we all bleed, yeah, now. Yes, we all bleed, Hey. All right. Thanks, man. This will be the last song and the title track to my last record. It's called This Is the Music That Heals Your Soul. This is the music that heals your soul. Let it deep down, yes, inside your soul. We are the revolution, a solution. Are you with me? You wanna come listen to a broken old gypsy? This is the music that heals your soul. So let it deep down, yes, inside your soul. We are the revolution, a solution. Are you with me? You wanna come listen to a broken old gypsy? See me. She could see me, yeah. Ooh, said you're sad, but you think you are lonely. Spend all your time looking for somebody, but your problems, they are inward, not outward. You're your own best friend. Don't let your friend be a coward, run, but never run from yourself. Just keep your feet moving, it is good for your health. Said jump, and jump as high as the stars, but the higher that you get, don't forget who you are. Just breathe. I'm feeling good, just breathe. Oh, 'cause this is the music that heals your soul. And let it deep down, yes, and touch your soul. We are the revolution, a solution. Are you with me? You wanna come listen to a broken old gypsy? This is the music that heals your soul. And let it deep down, yes, and touch your soul. We are the revolution, a solution. Are you with me? You wanna come listen to a broken old gypsy? See me. She could see me. Hey, oh. Whenever I am down, I put on surround sound. Turn the music real loud, 'cause they shit make me better. My friends around town, yes, we clown about the amount of compound love that is clearly in the weather. Yes, I woke up a long time ago. Now, yeah, I realize, but I got the long way to go. But I hold on to this thing that we call. But the music, yes, the music, yes, it got it, come heal my soul. 'Cause this is the music that heals your soul. And let it deep down, yes, and touch your soul. We are the revolution, a solution. Are you with me? You wanna come listen to a broken old gypsy? This is the music that heals your soul. And let it deep down, yes, and touch your soul. We are the revolution, a solution. Are you with me? You wanna come listen to a broken old gypsy? See me. She can see me.
Dacota Muckey. Thank you for rocking out the house as we, tore them up today. I mean, really tearing them up on the Moonshine and Music stage is what this is all about. And I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. Be sure to tune in next week when Jim Holden takes the center stage. And you're going to love that episode. I know you will. I've already seen it. I've already lived it as we put it together. But it's excellent. Next week's episode is going to really, really, really rock. So make sure you tune in again and check that out. And check out all of our back episodes. They're all laying out there in a playlist on YouTube. And you can see them all. Or you can go to iTunes or Podbean or Spotify and you can hear all the episodes on audio. They're all in full HD quality, both audio and video, so make sure you hit the HD button so you can hear all that. Subscribe, like, leave us comments, all that grand stuff. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Moonshine and Music. Moonshine and Music is a presentation of Eat New Media in association with Notlehs Entertainment. Producers for today's program are Brandon Lay and Joe Shelton. Be sure to join us next time on Moonshine and Music.